For more on this crisis here at home, I want to talk to Republican Congressman Tom Cole of Oklahoma. He is on Capitol Hill. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chuck.
All right, let me ask you on the basics here. $2 billion request from the White House for this emergency funding. Are you inclined to be in favor of this?
If the money is to fix the problem, yes. If it's simply to facilitate the flow, no. So we'll see what else goes with it. But I don't think just a $2 billion is the answer. And if I was going to do that, I'd spend it in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador,
right,
not to expedite the flow up here, which I think is what the administration is doing.
That you put it that way. So what you're saying essentially is, I'm guessing you would like that 2008 law changed and have that tied to this money?
I certainly would, but I will, look, I don't think this is the 2008 law. That law was in effect for 4 years, and we didn't have the problem. I really do think this is at the president's doorstep, and I think they like to, this is the oldest trick in the Obama book. Blame George Bush. It happened in 2008. Really? They're in the 6th year of their administration. This is an administration policy. We need a solution. I'm willing to vote for the money that it takes to do that, but if it's simply to facilitate the flow, then I'm not willing to do that. And so far, we haven't gotten any specific requests about changing the law. I think we're going to have to figure that out for ourselves. But I think that Congress is probably not going to just write a check. I think it's going to demand action as well.
But look, I understand the political back and forth about the 2012 versus 2008. But the fact that it's the 2008 law that governs, that basically makes it so that it is factually correct that any child not from Mexico or Canada that gets detained at the border is not automatically deported.
We didn't have that problem for 4 years, Chuck. So to blame a law that was in effect for 4 years, we had that problem once the president sent unambiguous signals that, look, if you're an unaccompanied minor and you show up at the border, you're going to be able to stay. And to hear what they said yesterday, that's just disingenuous. The idea that they expect most of them will be deported, that is not true. They know most of them will stay. No, absolutely not. And they know better than that. Look, you used the statistics yourself at the top of the show. 1,600 kids out of tens of thousands have gone back. And I've been told those were all pretty much voluntary. That is, they requested to go back. So if you don't stop the flow, you're not going to change the incentive. You can run all the ads down in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador that you want to run, but people know they're not true because they're hearing up here. And remember, these kids, somebody is paying criminal cartels to bring them up here. Right. They don't walk across Mexico. So we've got people in this country, sometimes people here illegally, facilitating a criminal enterprise, putting these kids at risk, and destroying the societies they're coming from. I mean, again...
Well, then let me stop you there, because you're getting at the root problem here, and I guess the question is, does the United States then need to invest in some sort of infrastructure aid, something down in Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador? Is that where this should be focused?
I think that's part of the problem. And look, I've always been willing to vote for those kinds of programs. I think we've got both a responsibility and an obligation in this regard. But having said that, you've got to be serious about stopping the flow. You are destroying the societies there. You are putting kids at risk, and you are strengthening criminal enterprises. And anybody that pays somebody to bring these kids here is just giving money to drug cartels. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, one of the things you ought to do, too, if sponsors show up to pick these kids up, if they're not here legally, they should both go back. We're not doing a background check on who we're turning these kids over to that's remotely adequate. So, again, this is a big problem, and I'm not seeing a lot of solutions out of the administration.
I want to ask you a quick political question. Eric Erickson over at Red State doesn't seem to be very pleased with Speaker Boehner's idea of suing the president. He writes this: I realize John Boehner and House Republicans may lack the testicular fortitude to fight President Obama, but I would kindly ask that he save the taxpayers further money on a political stunt solely designed to incite Republican voters. Where are you on this lawsuit idea?
Well, look, I want to see the specifics of the lawsuit. I tend to support the Speaker, but the idea we don't oppose the president is ridiculous. We've got a lot of Republicans that try to make money off saying other Republicans. Our problem here is we don't control the Senate, and we didn't win the presidential election. So we've cut the deficit. We've blocked the president time and time again, and the Speaker's been the leader in that. And to suggest he's anything other than...
So you're in favor of this lawsuit? You're in favor of...
I want to see the specifics, but look, I don't think... The president has routinely changed the law on respect to Obamacare. He's routinely changed the immigration laws, and now is complaining, well, we need more legal authority. Heavens, he hadn't waited for legal authority in the past. he could act now. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's probably worth doing. I want to see the specifics of what we're going to lay out, and I haven't seen that so far, to be fair.
All right. Tom Cole, Republican from Oklahoma. Appreciate your views this morning. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.